In 1560, a small local warlord named Oda Nobunaga faced a huge army 10 times bigger than his own. That army was led by a powerful general, Imagawa Yoshimoto, who wanted to take over Nobunaga's land. Most people would run away, but not Nobunaga. He waited for a thunderstorm, then launched a surprise attack with just 2,000 soldiers. This became known as the Battle of Akehizama. The enemy was caught off guard. Chaos followed, and incredibly Nobunaga's men defeated them. They even took down their leader, Yoshimoto. This shocking victory changed everything. A small underdog had defeated a giant. From that day on, Nobunaga's name spread across Japan, and his journey to unite the country had begun. Oda Nobunaga lived in a time of constant war. But he wasn't just a warrior, he was also a bold reformer. Back then in Japan, starting a shop was difficult. You had to pay fees, get special permission, and only certain people were allowed to sell goods. Nobunaga changed that. He said, anyone can open a shop. No fees, no rules. This idea was later called Rakuichi Rakuza, which means free market, free trade. Thanks to this, towns came alive. Markets popped up everywhere. Farmers, travelers, and craftsmen all had a chance to do business. It wasn't just about money. It gave people freedom, hope, and a way to grow their lives. Nobunaga wasn't only winning battles. He was building stronger communities and a new kind of future. Oda Nobunaga was a bold leader who changed Japan. But some of his actions shocked even his own people. One of the most infamous moments? The attack on Mount Hiei, a sacred Buddhist temple complex. For over 1,000 years, this mountain was a center of religion. But in Nobunaga's time, it also had warrior monks, who joined his enemies. Nobunaga warned them many times, but the monks kept supporting his rivals. In 1571, Nobunaga made a brutal choice. Attack the mountain. His army surrounded the temples, and then set them on fire. Many monks and even civilians were killed. The temples burned to the ground. People were terrified. Nobunaga gained a reputation for cruelty. But to him, power was power. Even religion couldn't be above the law. Nobunaga meets the West. In the 1500s, strangers arrived in Japan by ship. They came from faraway lands like Portugal and Spain. They brought more than just goods. They brought guns, wine, glass, maps of the world, and even Christianity. Many Japanese leaders were suspicious. But Oda Nobunaga welcomed them. He saw the power of guns and used them in battle. He drank wine, allowed churches to be built, and showed interest in Western music and clocks. To Nobunaga, strength wasn't just about armies. It was about ideas and innovation. While others feared the unknown, Nobunaga embraced it. He wasn't just fighting for land. He was looking toward the future. And maybe, even the world. The battle that changed Japan, Nagashino. In 1575, Oda Nobunaga faced one of his greatest enemies. The powerful Takeda cavalry, known for fast, deadly charges on horseback. Most armies would be crushed. But Nobunaga had a secret weapon: guns. Still, firing once and reloading wasn't enough. So he asked, how can I use guns better? That's when he created the three-line volley. The first row fires, then the second, then the third while the others reload behind them. This cycle of constant shooting kept the pressure on the enemy, non-stop. It was a brilliant tactic, simple but devastating. He even chose a rainy day to slow down the horses. Every move was calculated. The result? Nobunaga's troops defeated the feared Takeda cavalry. This battle, called the Battle of Nagashino, was a turning point when Japan's wars began to shift. From swords to guns. Azuchi Castle, Nobunaga's vision of power and beauty. Oda Nobunaga, known as a master of war. But did you know he was also a revolutionary of beauty? The perfect example? Azuchi Castle, his greatest creation. Before this, castles in Japan were built for defense. They were dark, plain, and practical. But Nobunaga thought differently. To him, a castle was something to show off. Azuchi had tall stone walls, golden pillars, and even design ideas inspired by Europe. It stood high above the land, visible from far away, a symbol of power. But it wasn't just for warriors. Nobunaga opened the surrounding town to common people, welcoming merchants, travelers, and guests. By showing beauty, he showed authority. Sadly, the castle no longer exists. It was destroyed just a few years later. But Nobunaga's vision lived on. In the design of every castle built after, his sense of beauty changed Japan. Even before his battles did. The betrayal at Honnoji Nobunaga's final day. June 2, 1582 at Honnoji Temple in Kyoto. Oda Nobunaga was just one step away from uniting Japan. And then, he was betrayed. By whom? His own general Akechi Mitsuhide. A trusted man, once close to Nobunaga. Suddenly, Akechi's army surrounded the temple. Nobunaga had only a small group with him. He fought back, but the numbers were too great. Soon, the temple was set on fire. Nobunaga is said to have spoken just one phrase. It cannot be helped. And then he took his own life. But why did Akechi betray him? Jealousy? Revenge? Fear? No one knows for sure. This event changed everything. The dream of a unified Japan under Nobunaga ended in flames. Oda Nobunaga often used one phrase, Tenka Fubu. It means rule the land through military power. But he didn't just want endless war. He wanted to end it. Nobunaga dreamed of a new kind of country. One with order, laws, and peace. To do that, he had to break the power of old warlords. And bring all regions under a single rule. He supported weak temples and shrines. But stopped religious groups that tried to control politics. He ignored old traditions, promoted people by talent, and helped merchants and craftsmen thrive. This wasn't just a warrior. This was a reformer, someone trying to change the system itself. Nobunaga's true goal? To use the power of war to end war. Nobunaga and his allies friends, rivals, betrayers. Oda Nobunaga's rise to power wasn't a solo act. He was surrounded by powerful allies and followers. One was Akechi Mitsuhide, a smart, well-educated strategist. Nobunaga trusted him deeply, but in the end, Mitsuhide betrayed him and caused his death. Then came Toyotomi Hideyoshi. He started as a low-ranking foot soldier. But Nobunaga saw his talent, promoted him rapidly. And after Nobunaga's death, Hideyoshi rose to rule Japan. Another was Tokugawa Ieyasu. He and Nobunaga were allies in war. Careful and patient, Ieyasu would later become shogun. Long after Nobunaga's fall, Nobunaga wasn't afraid to trust people. No matter their background, as long as they were capable. That boldness brought him strength. But maybe it also invited ambition too dangerous to control. Why Oda Nobunaga still matters. Oda Nobunaga lived over 450 years ago. And yet, his ideas still echo in modern Japan. Take merit over status. He chose people based on ability, not family background. That sounds a lot like how companies work today. He also supported free trade. He protected merchants and encouraged open markets, laying the foundation for Japan's economy. Nobunaga broke old traditions, challenged empty authority, and dared to imagine something new. He lived only 49 years. But his impact is still felt. Maybe in today's world too. We need people like Nobunaga, who question what's normal, and dream of something better.